Joanna.
It's hard to imagine, but that abbey was once a thriving bazaar, bustling with commerce and teeming with people. Nothing left but rot and overgrowth, and an abundance of dangerous beasts.
Beasts?
Well, there is one thing that I hope remains from that time.
What's that?
The golden anvil that once graced Zenithar's abbey when it was still a place of wealth and commerce. It is a holy relic that was stolen and hidden away by avarice. I hope to learn its true whereabouts for the resolutes of Zenithar, my order.
Any luck?
I did not expect quite so many deadly creatures nesting in the abbey when I set out. Otherwise, I would have enlisted fighters before departing. Priests of Zenithar are not known for their might, but we have deep pockets.
All right.
Are you for hire?
Yeah, give me money, I'll do some stuff. Let me find your golden anvil. I promise I'm not gonna steal that golden anvil and like belt it down for more coins.
The golden anvil was hidden away by the bazaar's arbitrator, Gavos Duar. We should search the abbey and learn all we can from Gavos's fall. It may lead us to the anvil's ultimate resting place.
Tell me more about this golden anvil.
The golden anvil was said to have once been unremarkable iron, worked tirelessly by a pious smith to build a simple trading post. Zenithar transformed the anvil to gold, blessed with divine prosperity for that honest labor. And the abbey was born.
Golden anvil sounds kind of crappy to make stuff on, given it's a soft metal. So you think a treasure like that was really here?
Most likely. It's well known that Gavos hid the anvil away before he was overthrown, but nothing seemed to indicate that it was removed from the abbey. With Zenithar's grace and some hard work, perhaps we'll have better luck finding it.
What else do you know about this place?
As I've said, the abbey was once a great bazaar, but that alone didn't make it special. Here, people of all kinds exchanged not just objects, but ideas, pieces of their culture. They saw the foreign as something to be valued. Sadly, it didn't last.
What happened?
Those who valued coin more than commerce infested it, until their greed utterly corrupted Zenithar's abbey. Gavos Duar and his ilk destroyed this wonderful place with their avarice. Not even the anvil was enough for him, it seems.
Who's Gavros?
As arbitrator of the bazaar, he was responsible for the peacekeeping forces. Gavos and his soldiers were the only ones permitted to be armed, in the interest of preventing violent disputes. It didn't take long for him to abuse that power.
What happened to him?
The rumors claimed that he used his office to enrich himself and drove this place to ruin through tax, tariff, and embezzlement. Gavos was overthrown eventually, but the anvil was never recovered, and neither was the prosperity it provided.
Well, okay, tell me about your faith then.
You are not familiar with the resolutes of Zenithar?
Never heard of them.
We are keepers of the resolutions, the temples of the divine provider. We offer succor and instruction to those who provide honest labor or wealth. Those who follow our teachings prosper.
So, capitalists. What are the teachings?
The foundations of civilization and prosperity, labor, commerce, and exchange. Zenithar smiles upon those who work for themselves and others. Through fair and honest trade, we better the world.
So not capitalists.
Teachings show how best to conduct business.
All right. All right, folks. It is 11:04. We put this on long enough here. Time for our next giveaway. Now, we have a few things to give away here. I think in the last hour of our hosting, we're going to give away the Pink Torch Whippet. For now, we're going to give away some ESO codes. We have copies of Blackwood. We also have crown packs, ESO Plus, and other pets to give away. The command this time is going to be Let us use Shaggy after our fine wood elf friend from that last public dungeon. Gonna open the giveaway. It's gonna be for 7 minutes. Anyone can enter in. Go ahead in 3, 2, 1, and go. While you guys go ahead and enter in on that, we're gonna go into this abbey and see if we can find this anvil. Scooby snacks. Zoinks! Like Zoink Scoob.
So much rot and squalor. Will any record of Gavos or the Anvil have survived?
Hmm?
The history of this abbey and its fall into ruin remain clouded in mystery. All I know for certain is that the golden anvil was never recovered. We should search for surviving records from Gavos' time. Some trail to follow, however waterlogged.
Any thoughts?
The bazaar, of course. But this abbey also had a thriving port. And despite its size, if you wish to conduct business in secret, like plot to overthrow a tyrant, you would need to do it somewhere secluded, like the outer grounds.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first place to go. Better trader's log. Caravan of Rogodians came today, managed to haggle some jars of tree sap. Might be fair part for the arbitrator Gravos didn't come in up with yet another inane rule to strangle free trade. I pray to Zenithar he'll spare me the joining lecture of why the tree fluids can't be traded in the bazaar. Must be nice living on the fat of your land without having to do much real work yourself. Plus, merchants keeping the goods and gold flowing here. Obstructing the trade is bad enough. But I've heard he's even barred anyone from seeing the golden anvil. Standing between us and the divine is a bridge too far. I won't stand for it, and I'm not alone.
That confirms that Gavos stole the golden anvil away. But where?
We're going to go left or right. Let's go left. Hello. Come here. Everyone make sure to blue exclamation point Shaggy if you want to get in the giveaway. Also be prepared to tell me that you're not a bot. There's some funny and hilarious way of letting me know. Riddles faded later. Things will move quickly soon. There's a plan to liberate the Abbey from the tyrannical Arbiter Garros. I spoke with the soldiers and learned that they're not too different from the rest of us. Just trying to earn a living and provide for their families. They don't like what the boss has been doing to them either, and they're willing to help the people stop it. With them on our side, we'll be able to topple the arbitrator without a fight. Trade Mistress is planning to imprison the Arbiter Gavos if he refuses to yield to his magic. I've already hired mages to fashion a magical seal made of 3 sigils, one of each of the trade ministers. All 3 of them would have to agree to release him, so you can pretty much guarantee the bastard will never see the light of day ever again. Maybe there's a place tonight, and I'll explain our plans for what happens after.
Gavos must not have been popular if even his own soldiers turned on him.
I have to go through here now. Not a bot. You say you're not a bot, I mean, that just 100% proves you're not a bot, right? It's like a cop. You have to say if you're a bot. I mean, no one would code a bot to lie, right? Round. Can I sneak through this entire public dungeon? Our directory. Interesting. You guys got 1 minute to get in. Exclamation point Shaggy to get in. They cannot be programmed to say they're not a bot. Surely not a bot. Don't call me Shirley. Woman, what did you say? Run left ACC. Oh, they got you. Herfy did not like that. I'm sorry. Herfy is very, very sensitive to robot needs. No, it's because you do like if you do text.text, it views it as a link. It's a very simple bot. All right, let me read through this last one here. It's happening, my dear. The soldiers turned on the arbitrator's Gavros. I heard they locked himself in the Abbey's attitum. So the trade ministers are going to magically seal him inside. The irony is delicious. They've done a great service to us, making all of this happen. Our baby will be able to grow up in a free city where citizens decide how to conduct their affairs, not some warlord declaring edicts from on high. What do you say we name him after one of the liberators? Ralos, Edistar, or Quentin? Which trade minister do you like the most? We discussed once you return from your fathers.
These merchant lords may be the last people to see Gavos alive, but did they find the anvil?
You think, Delian?
Let me see those documents for a moment. These confirm that Arbitrator Gavos hid the anvil, but not where. There was a rebellion led by the trade ministers that even Gavos's guards sided with, and he locked himself in the Abbey's attitum.
Where do you think he kept the anvil then?
I think that's very likely. An attitum is a sacred place within a temple. Only the clergy are permitted within. It would have been within the arbitrator's authority to keep it locked and guarded, even from the trade ministers. His personal sanctuary.
And when he wouldn't surrender, they sealed him in then, right?
So it would seem. If the attitum remains sealed, we'll need the 3 sigils mentioned here to open it. They were last in the possession of the Abbey's 3 trade ministers that we know of. We should search their holdings.
Well, got to find them first.
Many of these bazaars had a directory to allow patrons to find goods and shops. We should see if we can find mention of the 3 trade ministers, Ralos, Quentin, or Esdir. That should give us an idea where each of them did business.
Who are they, anyways?
Powerful merchant clergy who organized the trades of the Abbey's bazaar. They were the ones who led the Abbey to great prosperity before Gavos seized power.
Kind of weird to see merchant clergy. If they successfully overthrew Gavos, why did this place sink into ruin?
A good question. Perhaps the cost of that victory was too high. Orgavos' desecration was too great for Zenithar to forgive. If anyone was to have kept records of what actually transpired, it would be the trade ministers.
Yeah, it's shame, but there are other sites that other setups that will support 3D modeling and avatars too. Like V-Up and other things like that are out there are free. The only problem with it is tracking's not always the best. Yep, here we go.
The letters mentioned the 3 trade ministers. Now that we have the directory, it should lead us right to their holdings.
All right, let's go. First key coming next month. Well, congrats, man. Honestly, I remember when I had when we had our first kid. I think I was still streaming with my first and second kid, but like those first few weeks, I couldn't do anything. Like everything was about the kids. Just trying to make sure everything got on track. Rallis, okay. Galvos is finished. As expected, the petty soldiers had a price. It didn't take much convincing for Quentin and Esther to agree to it. We have enough gold between the 3 of us to buy them 5 times over. Now he's locked away his precious Anvil. The rest of us get back to turning some real profits in this constant interjections about what's fair. What would he know? We are the reasons the bazaar thrives, not his moralizing, and not some trinket. His newly appointed arbitrator visited us today. He offhandedly suggested we increase his weekly take, implying that wanting enough gold planification under the setting sun. His choice words seem too deliberate. Does he know? Does he know my secret hiding spot? Was I not careful as I thought? Whatever the case, we can afford to grease his palms more generously now, but he may need to be replaced if he knows too much about my affairs.
What? The soldiers were bribed? After all that talk about righteous rebellion, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
No, soldiers need to be paid and need to eat. Sucks that they locked companions away behind Blackwood. I'm interested to see if they come up with new companions now. But yeah, every chapter has something they lock away.
I'm still here. Thanks for asking.
Estuary's old journal. Rallis and Quentin must think that I'm much of a fool as Gavos. I know what they're up to. With him out of the picture, they're expanding their stock. Forbidden magical relics, aggressive exotic beasts. So they're trading anything and everything they can get their great hands on. Well, I won't have it said that I left the old Edra in the dust. I have a shipment of skooma coming in. Oh, everyone is like dealing in like everyone's dealing in like illegal drugs here or something like that. I have a shipment of skooma coming in. And I make sure that I am the only one that's selling it in the entire abbey. People will tire their trinkets and wild pets soon enough, but there will always be a market for skooma. Quentin's been talking about the Anvil, saying he has a buyer lined up, and we should retrieve it for sale. If it's truly worth the effort, he'll likely want it for himself. I moved my sigil to be safe. My favorite drinking spot, perched high above the busy streets.
Trade Minister Esdir trafficked in skooma. No wonder Zenithar abandoned them.
Oh, look, spiders. Hello, friends. Yeah, I'm a spider too. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Skitter, 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 skitter. Ah!
You can make it. Keep moving.
Damn it. I didn't want to do this. Oh, look at all these pets. When secret correspondence. My friend, I will have the anvil soon for you. Since everyone already knows or already believes it was stolen by Gabelstorvo, no one here will ever miss it. I only need to arrange some help for two of my fellow ministers. They've been a bit uncooperative lately, but I'm sure once I introduce them to the miniature bodyguard you provided, they'll be become far more agreeable. There cannot be any more delay, however. If you suspect anything, I may not be able to secure the anvil for you, so please come to Xanathar's Abbey as soon as you can. When you arrive, meet behind the forge fires, and I should have everything we need.
So they knew where Gavos had the anvil. They just wanted the opportunity to steal it for their own gain, instead of returning it to the people.
Digital key 1.
There must have been little trust between the trade ministers for them all to have hidden their sigil keys from each other.
They're coming for us.
High above. Right. Oh, no, wait. Over here. There it is. Oh, the rats. All right, one more location. Here we go. More key to get. Dirtbound.
Oh, that's all 3 sigils. We can unseal the attitum. It will be within the Abbey's temple.
Oh, we already did that one.
It worked. The attitum is unsealed. Let's not waste another moment.
Not another moment. Let's go.
Is that... No, this can't be the golden anvil, can it?
Kind of rusted.
It was abandoned to the hardships of time, as I was. But the anvil's sparkle began to fade well before the Abbey's fall. I should have worked harder.
It can't be. Are you... Kavos Duar? It's been nearly... How are you alive? This is all too much. Talk to Gavos, please. I must attend to the holy relic.
Galvos, seems like you've had a hard time, huh?
It seems I've finally paid my penance to Zenithar for letting this glorious place crumble. Oh, so many years alone. But I never gave up.
Wow, like the way his hand is twitching. I've been surviving. How'd you survive while being imprisoned in here?
Honest toil. Zenithar provides to those who work. Just as the seal kept out the war that raged between the trade ministers, the cracks let in the rain, and the roach, and the rays of the sun. These were my wages for care of the Anvil and prayer.
He literally was like, he was thanking God. He's thanking Zenithar for giving him roaches to eat and rainwater to drink. What happened to the anvil?
I barely recognize it myself. Pitted and corroded beyond repair. I did my best to preserve it. Not nearly enough. Its glow began to fade as the Abbey became corrupted by avarice, opulence, and depravity. So, I hid it away before anyone took notice.
They claimed you stole it.
I know. I had no defense against their wealth and their poisoned words. The harder I fought to curb their ambitions, the more I became their common enemy. Once I was gone, though, they were free to fight among themselves. They tore this place apart.
Well, I should discuss this with Delium then.
I can still feel Zenithar's presence here, however faint. All is not lost. For what it's worth, I believe Gavos speaks the truth. I can see great care has been taken for this anvil, in spite of the toll of years and the corruption of the Abbey. Zenithar has not fully abandoned this house.
So your quest is successful then?
Almost. The golden anvil hangs on by a thread, thanks to Gavos' care. But it will fade completely if Zenithar's faith in us is not renewed. There is hope, both for the anvil and, Zen willing, the Abbey.
What do you mean?
Zenithar is the divine of honest work and just rewards. You have labored tirelessly on the behalf of his faithful. The first pure, unsullied toil this place has seen in ages. Let us dedicate our compact in the name of Zenithar, in his holy house.
I just did this for the money, man, but okay. Is that going to really restore the anvil?
No, only hard work can return the anvil and the Abbey to glory. But Zenithar may see that this place is worthy of redemption and renew his blessing upon them. Will you make this offering with me?
I don't got a choice. I will.
Blessed Zenithar, I bring you this laborer whose calloused hands do your blessed work. Please, lay your hand upon the anvil. By these hands and this coin, an honest day's work is done in your name. May it be the first of many to come. Trade be. The anvil sends light, shines brightly once more.
Trade be. My work here is finally done. Now, all I ask for in return is to see the open sky.
You can see it right up there.
You have earned that much and more. I'll get the door for you.
Like, you can see the open sky right up there. Belion.
You have been a great boon to the resolutions of Zenithar. I could not have found the golden anvil without you, let alone save it from its ignominious fate.
What happens now then?
I'll inform my order, and through our efforts, perhaps they'll be able to restore this abbey to glory. Regardless, Zenithar leaves no debts, and you more than earned your due. Take this blessed coin with all my thanks.
Thank you.
Even now, Zenithar is teaching me. I came seeking his blessings of wealth, and instead I find a life he spared from the sickness of greed. The true divine wealth we discovered here is that old man, I'm certain.
What makes you say that?
I didn't seek out the golden anvil for its material worth. I was in search of something touched by the divine. To have endured so long in that tiny prison, he must truly have communed with Zenithar during his captivity.
Think it's a miracle he's alive?
What else would you call it? He stayed true to the teachings and carried the resolve of Zenithar in his heart to endure, even as everything around him crumbled to dust. Faith like that is worth far more than gold. We can learn much from Gavos.
You make it sound like he's a saint then, huh?
If the primate agrees, he might very well become one. Miracles aside, Arbitrator Gavos is a wealth of knowledge long thought lost, and he has witnessed firsthand how even a holy temple of Zenithar can become corrupted by avarice. Lessons to remember.
Yeah, fair point.
Without you, the Abbey's downfall would remain a cautionary tale with all the wrong lessons, and poor Gavos its villain. Zenithar shone a light on the truth through you, laborer. Your works honor us both.
All right.
I'd like you to accompany me to the resolutions of Zenithar, Gavos. Your story is one we should all hear.
If this old man still has use left in him, it's Zenithar's to command.
Gavos.
I knew I would be free one day. Zenithar exacts his price, but never more than what is owed. With his forgiveness, perhaps now I can earn a modest living for the twilight of my years.
You are in your twilight. What happened to the golden anvil?
It was just returning to what it once was. A simple source of labor for the blacksmith who founded the abbey. Legend held that Zenithar's blessing transformed it. Well before my time. When I became arbitrator, it was already radiant, one of a kind.
Why'd it fade, huh?
I suspect as greed took hold of the bazaar, Zenithar lost his faith in us. I hid it away, so as not to cause panic, but I think that may have been my greatest mistake. He was trying to show his disapproval, and I silenced it. That was my crime.
Oh. Tell me about yourself, then.
Oh, I'm no one. I was the arbitrator of Zenithar's abbey long, long ago. It was my duty to resolve disputes and ensure the safety of the bazaar. I failed, and so this place lies in ruin. But if others wish to learn from my mistakes, I'll oblige.
Why do you blame yourself?
There were good people here. I was the one who was supposed to protect them from the unscrupulous few. But I wasn't wise enough to outwit them. If I'd had more to offer than platitudes, perhaps the others would have stood by me. Only Zenithar knows.
Oh.
Even now, Zenithar is teaching.
Nice question.